You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com, and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AfterBuzz TV Scandal After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV Scandal After Show.
Gladiators, what is up? I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful night. We're here for another Scandal AfterBuzz TV After Show, Season 2, Episode 21. Any questions? I'm your host, Emile Ennis Jr., and I'm joined here with 3 amazing gladiators, starting with...
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Kennelia.
Hi, I'm Sofia Stanley.
And I'm Bamm Ericsen.
And we're going to get right into it, as always. Tonight, we're going to go back to our scene by scene and just break this episode down. But first, I want to hear your thoughts. What did you guys think about the episode overall? I kind of loved it, kind of didn't. I don't really know how I feel after that ending.
The last 5 minutes were kind of like the meat of the episode. The beginning was kind of, warming you up, and the whole time I was like, okay, now what's going on? What? Okay, like it was kind of dragging a little bit to me, but the last 5 minutes, it kind of pushed it to where I thought it was going to be the entire episode.
Yeah. What do you guys think?
I didn't like it. I did not felt it was a little all over the place, and I understand that you have to kind of prelude into to what's going to happen for the finale. So if this is this is basically like a 2-hour finale, and this was like part 1. And for me, I felt it was all over the place. There was some moments and scenes that for me, it was like, okay, this is way too much.
Mm-hmm. Sophia?
I plead the 5th.
Well, let's go ahead and get into it. So Cyrus is dealing with a lot of pressure with the press basically on his ass, trying to figure out what's going on with the president. And he keeps saying, refer back to the statement. And the interesting thing was we go back to this dynamic between James and Cyrus. And I'm trying to remember, this is the first time that we see them interact since he talked to Melly. Do you think that Cyrus is out of place by the way he's treating James? Because he's still going back to that place where he doesn't treat him like he's an actual correspondent.
Hell yes. Okay, Cyrus was so out of pocket. He was so disrespectful. He was completely wrong. James said that, what was he supposed to do?
Okay, wait, time out. Are we going all the way forward yet? Or do we just mean the beginning part in the actual
this beginning
press
part
conference?
when they were in the press conference.
I don't think he was out of line. I think, if anything, out of line would have been not to address him at all and pretend as if he wasn't there. I thought he interacted with him like he would any reporter given the situation in the actual press conference.
In the press conference.
In the actual press conference.
I jumped. Sorry.
I know.
I'm
That's
sorry.
why I'm trying to help you out.
Now, but when one of the people or the press asks, where is the president? And then he goes to Olivia. They were at Olivia's place, right?
Yes.
He goes to Olivia's place and he tries to get in with Hal, and then he gets in, he tells him.
No, let's back up real quick. Sorry, because this is I'm sorry. Cyrus's lines and the way when it's similar to season 1 when Cyrus was running down the hallway and we literally thought he was going to have a heart attack. It was very similar to that. It was similar to when he tried to get Jake to stand down and move from the doorway. It was almost as if his entire blood was boiling. And basically what he told him was, I'm not Jesus Christ. And then he went one further. He goes, Jesus Christ saves people and absolves them of their sins. I crush people. I destroy them.
That's what I didn't hear. I didn't hear that line.
That's what he said. So basically he's saying, like, I'm worse than God, right? Because I have no honor. I have no faith. So at the end of the day, you need to get out of my way. And Tom, right? It's Tom. Mm-hmm. Tom basically was like, you need to give me a reason. So Tom was obviously scared, but had to hold his position like he should. But he was just saying, you have to give me a viable reason why the president would be in danger for me to step aside, which Cyrus said he's having a heart attack.
Yeah.
But big
and that's when
ups
he goes-
to, sorry to cut you off, Sophia.
No.
Big ups to Hal. Was it Hal?
No, it's Tom.
Big ups to Tom for standing his ground, because if it were Hal, aka Pillow Talk, he would have let him right in. He would have he was like, "Oh, cool, you're here finally," and he would have opened up the door and let him right straight to the back bedroom.
When we got back to, or when he got into the bedroom, he told him to get up, though. I like that it still was this happy between Olivia and Fitz. Like, they're so in love with each other, and they just didn't care. And even when Cyrus sees them, they just don't care. It was a shock at first, obviously. But when they got on the elevator, when Fitz got on the elevator and did a little smirk.
He was smiling.
He was smiling. He's happy. Now, David, this...
Oh my goodness! I'm
What I
sorry.
missed-
Am I the only one? Was like, we always. Why do you want to rush through
Oh,
Oleg's
God, I do it all.
moments? Like, you need to slow down.
I do it because
no,
I wait for
no,
it-
no. I'm just gonna cut you off right now. So, it is the first time that we have seen Olivia and Fitz so comfortable, so calm. To use a word, I think that Bamm used last episode, like. That's her man. Like, he was like, yo, I got my girl. And there was no anything. Usually there's an angst. There's a, we have to run and we have to go back to our normal lives. There was none of that. It was literally as if two people who have always been in a relationship and they're simply waking up in the morning. He's going to his job. She's going to her job, and they're having their normal banter. And the way that they interacted, because then she's about to go to work, right?
Right.
So by her going to work, she's trying to put on the Olivia Pope fixer hat back on in relationship to Fitz. And Fitz goes, no. He goes, I need you to stand down, right? And go ahead, Bamm.
Well, first, I like the fact that that Olivia and Fitz were completely unfazed to the get up. Like, he was furious, and they just kind of popped up
Well,
for a
Olivia
second.
quietly tried to
Yeah.
cover her face like he didn't
Yeah.
see her in the bed. Like, she tried to put her hand
Like
over
they're
her
not
eyes.
at her apartment.
Yeah, she's like, girl.
And then after that, it was just like, okay, so who cares? And they went back to their lovey self. So I thought that was just funny how unfazed they were. But going back to, I lost my train of thought. What were we talking about before?
Fitz telling her to stand down.
I like this scene because Fitz, you know how I go into the whole man thing? Like, he puts his foot down and he's like, no, like, there are some things that we men do not like for our women to do. And so, like, Fitz wants to take care and handle this himself. And so he said what he had to say. She respected it, and then they went forward. And then I also thought it was cool how Olivia toward the end, which talk about that, but they both had their moments where, as a man, he said what he had to say. As a woman, she said what she had to say. But there was a mutual respect. There was no arguing. There was no horror. There was no name calling or anything. So I liked the two scenes that they had where they were kind of being the aggressor toward one another, and there was no drama.
I also like how this was kind of a similar scene to when Olivia and Edison were in that same scenario. Remember back, early season, they were getting dressed. Edison was going on and on, talking about who he used to date. One girl didn't read books. Can you believe that? And yada, yada, yada. And Olivia was just, quietly getting dressed like do-do-do-do-do-do-do. This was like the contrast to that. It was the total opposite. You can see that she was actually happy, and she was actually... it's like she was free. Like she was very free in that situation. So I liked how it was, to me, I was like, oh, this is the exact same situation, but just a different person. The person she wanted it to be.
I have a comment, but I'm going to address it later. We go to Olivia Pope and Associates. We have David here, and David's commenting on the cheater who is the president. He cheated with Defiance. He cheated with this. And this is when I started to have a little bit of distress for David, because he is trying so hard to fit in with these gladiators. But sometimes when people try a little too hard, that's the vibe I was getting from him. It seemed like he was trying a little too hard to fit in, a little too hard to act like everything was okay. And
I disagree with you. I don't think David was trying hard at all. I thought he's a pretty damn good fronter. He did a very good job just pretending like everything was cool. Like, even the way he responded to Abby, well, it's all good. I'm a gladiator now. Like, I thought he played them like a deck of cards in Vegas. I mean, I thought he was real smooth with them, me personally.
I don't know. I disagree. I didn't think he was smooth, and maybe it's just me being the skeptic I wasn't, because I already suspected that maybe he was the mole. But It was that moment, but also when they brought up that, or when they found out that whoever the mole is knows about the Citron card and knows about, or is trying to find out about the finance, and they go into the safe and check to make sure the card's still there. Just the way he was looking over there and like his body language. I don't know. I didn't trust him, so I don't trust him at all.
I was a little worried during that scene, not because of the mistrust, but because Olivia ran to the safe and was going for the Citron card, like she forgot that David was there and they stole it from David.
Because
So when she took it
that's
out,
a testament to what Bamm said. He is playing him so well to the point where he is a gladiator, so he can just.
But also, again, Olivia has been off her game the whole entire season too. She had so many things going on that, you know, she wouldn't even come up. She wouldn't even succumb to Harrison and his demands for trying to, you know, get help.
but I don't even think that's off her game. though.
Go ahead, Kennelia.
I don't really think that's off her game. One, with the Citron card, when she ran there, and it was that sense of urgency where she couldn't have waited to do that. She probably could have been a little sneakier when she went to the safe to look, but it was like a mad dash to the safe. But in regards to her being off her game with Harrison, and we'll talk about it a little later, to me that looked like,
I mean, she's off her game because of what's going on. But I do think that, I would think that her going to the safe is her own moment that she shouldn't do in front of the associates. I would think that that's something you go in the room, you close the door.
I have to agree with Bamm on this one, and I don't necessarily, but I agree with Bamm, but not the underlying reasoning. I don't think that the reason she did it was because she's off her game. I think the problem is that there was structure with the associates, and the fact that she was the only one who made decisions and she kind of kept them at bay, that's actually how things needed to be. Now that things are getting a little bit muddled and it's kind of like, who's Quinn? Is she Huck Jr.? Is Huck Huck? No, seriously. Is Abby? Is Harrison Steven? Is David now Harrison? Like, if you think about it, too many things are moving too quickly, where if Citron is Defiance, right? And Defiance is the one thing, even worse than being outed as a mistress, that could topple the Republic. You don't run to the safe the minute someone mentions it, because you're giving away your card. And I don't mean to bring up another show, but even in Sherlock, like, that's a typical Sherlock tell. You basically start a fire or you do anything to make someone run towards their child, right? For her child is the Citron because it connects back to Fitz, right? All roads lead to Fitz. That's all that happened, and she immediately did it, where I agree with Bamm. She should have taken a second, gotten all the information, okay, been like, okay, cool, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, gone back to the safe and done what she needed to do, as well as the fact that, again, they're leaving too much stuff in plain sight. You have the Citron card at Olivia Pope and Associates that everyone knows after you just got hit on the head because someone's watching you with surveillance cameras. Like, again, it's like, and to me, I don't mean this to be disrespectful, what happened to Huck does not negate their need for security. If you need to call in other security, you need to call in other security. Has anyone swept the place? Has anybody done anything? So I think it's just a matter of, because things are evolving in a way where they are, quote unquote, more a family, I don't think that makes for good business.
I agree. Now, Melly, with her fixer, I have to say her fixer was on point, and it was nice to see somebody talk to Melly the way he did, because I feel like Melly, well, we know Melly is this person who comes in there and she thinks she knows everything, and this guy comes in there and basically read her like a book, and he told her, you know, I know about you and the miscarriage. I know about you know, this act that you put on with everybody. So I need you to be honest with me. What I like about what Melly said, because even though Melly is who she is and she might have been thrown a little bit off, she said, I can be honest, but I can also lie, whatever is in my best interest. And it goes back to what we've been saying the whole season. She has no guard in front of her. She is completely open with her intentions, and she knows. So Cyrus is trying to fix the situation. He's not happy with Fitz, and he finds out that Fitz is not considering a second term, and he's going to announce that. And then we see them in the press again, Cyrus referring to the statement. And when Cyrus is trying to reason with Fitz, he says, you're not giving up your place in history. You're not giving up your office. But what I love about what Fitz said in that scene, we said quite a few things, but he said basically, I would like to be out in the open with the woman I love, and I'm sick of hiding in the shadows. Because I think Cyrus compared it, my brain's running a blank. One of them compared it to the Monica Lewinsky scandal, saying how, Clinton still continued Cyrus said that Clinton still continued his presidency after that, but Clinton wasn't in love with Monica, and this is a completely different thing. And there's another comment I'll make, but I'll make it later. Anybody?
No.
Oh. So when we go to Jake, do we know the boss's name, the black guy?
In all my notes, I just say Joe Morton.
And the only reason, and this isn't necessarily a spoiler, one of the gladiators on Twitter looked up, and I think on IMDb, it says his title is Secretary of Defense. So we can call him that.
Oh my God. He was the guy who, when they were torturing Huck in the basement, he was down there. Mm-hmm. I just connected that.
I didn't connect that.
Remember?
Yeah. No,
I just remembered. Sorry, I just
He was
had a
in the
moment.
room. He was the guy in the room. Yeah. I never connected
I just remembered that. So Jake met with the boss to tell him about Charlie, and then after that scene, we see Sally Langston, and automatic.
Wait, time out. Sorry. I think it's very important because the Secretary of Defense specifically says he repeats what Jake's mission was, and his mission. How come I can't speak? Was to get in between Olivia and the president.
Right.
So I never saw that coming before, and I had previously said that I thought that was a misstep by him, when in fact that was exactly what he was supposed to do. Not necessarily sleep with her, but that wasn't off limits. Wherein before I thought that potentially could get him fired, and that is exactly what he was supposed to do. And I think that's telling, because that means they've been.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God.
And he's
right.
and he's playing both sides. He's working for Fitz, and he's working for.
Right. But the reason he's working for Fitz was he was put in position to do so.
Huh. I love when I connect the dots like a lot because like when I'm watching, sometimes I connect. So we see Sally Langston's back, and she's happy. And I had a question for you guys. They said if Congress impeached Grant, then Sally's out.
Yeah, because it's a ticket.
Yeah.
So they're a bundle.
Oh wait, no, I actually don't know that. You know what? Tweet us, and Steven, if anyone answers on the chat, please let us know. I actually, off the top of my head, don't know. No, if they impeach him, it's not.
No.
It would be Sally. It would be Sally.
Because Sally
Go ahead.
Sally has nothing to do with his.
Yeah, because it goes next in line. It's almost comparable to him dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it goes Sally, and then for some reason.
But the only difference is the second term, they're out. So she just gets to be like how she was before. And no one, that's the worst way to come into a presidency. Because all she's going to do, she's going to be the president like she was before, ride out whatever. Now, what do we have now? Probably 2 years, not even. But that's basically when you start running your election. She's not going to win. And especially in the drama of infidelity, do you know what I mean? For the Republican Party, you're done.
Yeah,
the Democrats are going to come in.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, these next two scenes are probably one or two of the most powerful scenes in the whole episode. We have this scene with Harrison and Olivia, where Harrison goes into Olivia's office and he just asks her, "What is your end game?" And I'm still waiting for her to answer this because we really don't know what her end game is. Is it Fitz? Does she just want his happiness? What is your end game, Olivia? And he goes in there, he says, "What's your end game?" And then he has to convince Olivia to end the situation. She's not the fixer, she's the client. And he had to say, what do you want? And even after all of that, after the whole conversation they had, she still didn't give him anything.
All right, I'm gonna back up. And then we'll get into this. I love Harrison's line, so I'm gonna try to do the best that I can for what I wrote down. You're the problem, you're not the fixer. You're my client. What is your end game? You're not tethered to anything. I'm your anchor. Snap out of it. What do you want? And then she pauses and she looks at him and she goes, "We need to prove whether Sally's the mole. Get on it."
I don't know, like
Olivia, she's like 50% she pisses me off and 50% I like her because it's like she's strong, she's not inside, and despite of all the things that's going on with her potentially being revealed that she's the mistress, she still has it together as far as the associates are concerned. She don't give a damn that Harrison knows what's going on. I'm the boss. I'm in control. Do as I say. But I respect that. But then there's another part of me. It's like, get it together. Like you're on the verge of
I guess the reason why I get frustrated is because in this episode specifically, we keep seeing these moments where we see the true Olivia, the happy Olivia, like in the bed with Fitz. When they woke up, she was truly happy. She was free. She was vulnerable. Right after that, immediately after that, she goes back to trying to fix things. Then she goes to the office. Once again, we have a moment where she could truly be open with somebody that she's really close with, not as close as Huck, but she's still really close with, and she values his friendship or whatever relationship they have. And she misses that opportunity again, and just, it's almost as if she, I don't know, it's frustrating because I just want her to open up.
Oh,
maybe,
I totally disagree. Go ahead.
Maybe she didn't tell Harrison her end game because maybe she doesn't know her end game. This isn't a space that she's been in before. Think about it. If she was in a relationship with Edison, she clearly seemed miserable. She seemed like she wasn't happy. She seems like she's never been put in a situation where her man has said, you follow my lead. This is what it's going to be, and you ride it out with me. I'll figure out my part, but don't worry about your part. So when Harrison said, what's your end game? I don't think she knows. She don't have one. I think she has an idea of how the chips may fall, but because Fitz told her to stand down, she can't tell Harrison the end game because he took her off her post. He took her off her post, so she doesn't have an answer. So when she said, "Okay, let's find the mole," that's all she had.
And also, too, I completely 100% agree with Kennelia because at the end of the day, Fitz asked her not to fix it. Fixing it would be either being the fixer or putting one of your fixers in charge of fixing it. It's the same thing. It's like in the same way when Huck tried to have Charlie kill Billy. I just had to bring that up, okay? It's the same thing. It still would have been Huck killing him, right? Also, similar to Melly, and I've always said that, there's a trinity in the Olitz relationship. It really is Fitz, Melly, and Olivia. And in the same way, Melly, even though she pulled one trigger, she wouldn't go nuclear and name who the mistress was. Olivia's is going to do the same thing. She's going to hold it tight to the vest because at the end of the day, Harrison thinks he knows. Harrison has no proof of anything. Just because you go to the hospital and the president happens to be there, you don't actually have proof of anything.
He don't need proof. I'm sorry.
No, but you do. In their world, you do, right? In the same way that you can't accuse the vice president without proof, without evidence, they live in a world of two things, right? Perception, but perception has to be backed up by something. So she needs to maintain the perception regardless of whether or not from an emotional standpoint, Harrison knows better. She has to pretend like everything's all good and let's get back to business, because if she does that, what's that going to lead to? Now everything's going to spiral out of control. And if they had done that, now Harrison actually truly knows and Fitz didn't pull the trigger. Do you see where that leaves her unbalanced, right? Versus follow for once what he said and don't be in charge of everything, because she's been in charge of everything her whole life, right? And what's happened? She built this amazing career, but her love life is in shambles. Switch the tables, right? That's why she gave the folders over. Yeah. That's why she's made comments about making jam and doing all those things. Regardless of how silly it sounds, there's a part of her that wants to be that person, that wants to be so in love that she doesn't have to put up a Chinese wall, that she doesn't have to fix someone, that all she can do is be in bed on a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday and just be with her man and watch him go to work and be ready for him to come home.
And on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you guys can always go to iTunes, leave comments. Leave comments, tell us what you think, rate us, keep us at 5 stars. Go to iTunes, download, rate, tell a friend.
Thank you, sir.
All right. James
and Cyrus. I think we all were just had multiple feelings about this because Cyrus is, that's my co-piece of the week. This whole scene just rubbed me the wrong way because remember I asked last week, should Cyrus be upset about what James is doing because James is just doing his job? This is a big break, blah, 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 blah. James said exactly what I was trying to say last week. James was like, this was my lucky break. I was offered this opportunity. What did you want me to do? You want me to turn down this interview with the First Lady? When Cyrus started laughing, when he did that big condescending laugh, then backed up to the wall, and then he said,
And sat down.
Yeah, sat down, and then said, are you naive? Called him stupid, like all these different names.
No, but he tore him down. It wasn't just that he called him naive. He goes, no, but you can't be naive. You're a journalist. So naivete is the one characteristic that you never put with a journalist. So if you're not naive, then you must be stupid. Are you stupid? He asked him that, literally. And then he got so irate at how stupid James was. Did you catch this?
Yes, I did. I'm gonna go in. I'm ready to.
Okay, like he was so disgusted by his naivete of really thinking, because, and this is what sparked it, right? James had the gall and or the audacity to compare his break with the BNC, I think that's the name of the network, right? With Cyrus's big break when Fitz ran for governor of California. That's what sparked Cyrus, because basically Cyrus is like, oh, wait a minute. You are trying to compare your job and what you do to what I do, and that set him off.
As I had the nice little debate with Jeff Perry, my problem with Cyrus's character is any opportunity that he gets in order to win the fight or the argument, he'll use it and he'll go it against him. Last week when James went to him and asked him about this job, he was so consumed into his little world because he had a bad week that he basically just brushed him off and was like, sure, take it. As a man, because, you know, he's kind of the man, we've already kind of discussed that, but as the man, the head of that particular household, he should have been looking out for his boo thing, and he should have advised him on him taking the job or what to look for and if he's possibly played. But because he was so into his own worlds that
I'm going to cut you off. I disagree with you. You want to know why?
No.
Cyrus didn't know at that time that Melly got him the job. It wasn't until after the fact. At that time, Cyrus didn't know that Melly was basically using him and got him the job. It's only after the fact that Cyrus put 2 and 2 together.
Right, but you can't throw. But he didn't know that. You can't throw that at your husband's face like that. You can't do that.
Cyrus is a maniac. Cyrus's only love is Fitzgerald Grant and the presidency and what that means for Cyrus's legacy as pseudo president.
Okay.
The minute that comes into jeopardy, Cyrus is like, he's like an animal when you push it into the corner.
Okay, I'll
he
give
is
you that.
ravenous. So that's what he was doing. So at the end of the day, like, go ahead, Kennelia.
I don't even think Cyrus's love is Fitzgerald Grant. Cyrus's love is himself, and Cyrus is miserable. Only time when someone always cuts somebody down, whenever it's a fight, they always go for the jugular and they hit those low blows. That's because they're a miserable person. Cyrus hates himself. He looks at himself in the mirror. He already called himself unattractive. He knows he doesn't have what it takes. So that speech to James was the speech that Cyrus gives to himself when he realized he couldn't be the president of the United States. That was him. He was cutting James down with everything that he felt about himself. He is a miserable. How dare you? Like when I was watching, I was like, how dare you?
I agree.
Dash his dreams.
Yeah.
Let him think that he got this job because he's a great journalist. What is it going to do to you, Cyrus, that if he got the job because, you know, he was a great guy? So what?
I was going to say the
Yes.
part that got me though was when, because I think last week James said he could be the next Anderson Cooper. The part that got me was when he started naming like all the different journalists that could have done the interview and basically said, "Oh, you think just because you and Melly are friends, that's why she picked you?" Like,
No, but he didn't went even more than that though. He was like, "Oh, he's like, you thought they were gonna pick you? You're a little bit pudgy." Like he basically categorically broke him down and proved to him
Every single
why there
flaw.
was no reason that he would have been chosen over these more established
but then
people.
even more so, he said, "You don't even deserve to be doing this." That's
Oh,
essentially
he
what he
says
said.
you have no business in this job.
Like
Now-
he tore him down.
But this is the thing though, and it broke my heart, but I literally, and I don't know how I didn't scream at the TV. Funny thing is, that's the epitome, or this right here is exactly what a lucky break is. No, he didn't say, think about it. He didn't say I worked for this or whatever. He goes, I got a lucky break and I took it. I don't care how you got the lucky break. It's once you do what you do with it when the door opens.
exactly.
And he ran through it and he
Exactly.
took it. And he could have, like Cyrus thought if he was really so naive, that in the middle of Melly confessing that her husband, who's the president of the United States of America, cheated, a naive person would have gone, oh my goodness, I can't do this because my husband works for your husband, so I have to get up. He would have done any of those things. What he acted like was a professional journalist.
Exactly.
The fact that he then returned to the White House and asked you questions and called you on your BS with your statement and called it legalese, that's what a journalist should have done. And that's not luck. That's when luck meets opportunity. There you go. You have a journalist.
Speak the truth.
Now I will say that Cyrus, he was kind of right in some of the things that he said, but
Not really.
No, but let me when you think about it, really, well, hold on. When you think about it, you have Anderson Cooper, Diane, so you have all these people.
No.
Wait. I'm not defending him. I'm just saying I just had a moment where he makes a small valid point, but it doesn't compensate for all the other things that he did.
No.
What really pissed me off about what Cyrus did is he raised his hand to James not once, but he raised his hand twice. Like, you had your hand up, like, you a man, you're gonna really? You gonna hit this guy, this dude, for real?
Also,
almost had him
let's
killed.
back up. Let's also make it very clear. This isn't his dude. This isn't his boo
I'm sorry,
thing.
I'm sorry,
I
you're
just
right.
need to be very clear. This is his husband.
Sorry,
so
thank
let's
you.
put it on the level of respect that it deserves.
Sorry.
He spoke to his husband that way. So 2 things are problematic in this scenario, given that this is his husband. One of which is, if in fact any aspect of it is true, then you don't respect your husband. That's a major problem. The manner in which you communicated it, like Kennelia said, was so disrespectful and so debased, and it shows that you have no respect for yourself because, again, that's your mate who's a reflection of you. So if you feel that you have a right to talk to him that way and raise your hand, like you said, not once but twice, it shows how not only you view your spouse, how you view the union, and how you view yourself.
Well,
so it's disgusting. And literally... Jeff Perry, I bow down to you again because your acting is phenomenal.
So
but
good.
Cyrus, cold piece, out of line, out of line, out of line.
No, again, when he gave him the speech, everything he said to James was about him. You're a little bit pudgy. We could have called Diane sore, yada yada yada. Guess what, Cyrus? They called everybody to run for president, and they did not call you. Everything he said to him was exactly what happened to him in running for president. Yeah, it was your big break, Cyrus. You jumping on Fitz's bandwagon, it was your big break because you said it was your big break, and you said this is all you have.
I just wish James would, at some point,
That was good.
just get the balls to stand
And
up
he
to him.
cried. He was crying at the
because he
end.
crushed him. But think about it also where they've been in the relationship, and then we'll move on.
Yeah,
They've
we have to.
already been through where he made Cyrus move out. So he's thinking now they finally put their relationship back. Cyrus has literally shown himself naked to him, and they've been able to get past this, and now he really sees Cyrus. And this, they cannot recover from.
They can't.
They can't recover from this. And I hope James takes that baby and goes,
Deuces. We got heated about that. I knew that one was coming. I knew I was gonna get heated. This is another scene I love. And it's back to Cyrus. He was talking to Olivia, and he was telling Olivia to come to her senses and trying to convince her to talk some sense into the president. My issue with Cyrus is he does this so many times because we know a little bit of the backstory between Cyrus and Olivia. We don't know the full backstory, so we don't know exactly the extent of their relationship. I don't like how Cyrus so easily gets into Olivia's head because we were starting to see this moment of happiness with Olivia. Remember, the whole reason she agreed to defiance is because Cyrus talked to her in that hallway. He basically drug her down to his level and said, listen, you need to come on board.
Emile, Cyrus didn't get into Olivia's head like you thought, because remember her response was when he was like, you can't let him do this, blah, blah. She said, we've already changed the future. So I don't feel like Cyrus got into her head.
But he did.
he was trying to.
Oh, he
Is
was
that what you're
trying
trying to
to.
say?
Yeah.
I don't, but yeah, okay. he
I
tried.
still think he planted the seed, though, which led to later on in the episode.
I think the only reason that Olivia had spoke to Fitz was because of the forms that Fitz didn't sign, and Olivia was the only one that probably can get. Okay.
We'll get to that because we'll get to that.
But I know I agree with Emile. Do you want to kind of continue your thought?
Go ahead.
And I think because what Cyrus does, which is so slick, right, is he goes, this is going to devastate the Republican Party, right? So he tries that angle. And then he basically, in essence, what he says is, so at the end of the day, now we're going to be left with a Republican Party that looks like Sally Langston. So that means that people like you and me will have no rights. He's slick, right? Because he's basically trying to pull this whole, like, we're in this together. You know what I mean? I'm a minority. You're a minority. And she basically says, don't bring my rights into this. Like, don't go there. Like, seriously, dude, you're going to play that card? And then he basically then tries that other route, and he goes, no, seriously, like, if I thought this was good for him, right? He's, like, trying every single card. He goes, if I really thought this was good for him, but I don't think this was good for him, I would slay dragons for him. Basically, he's trying to say, like, if I thought that you two being together was a good thing, like, I would totally be on board with it. Cry me a river, right? And then that doesn't work. And then that's when basically he, again, now this third card is the Republic. Like, he again tries this whole we the people republic, and that's when Olivia basically was like, didn't we already do this before? We've been here before. So at the end of the day, maybe the universe is trying to right itself. Let's really think about it. You have to find where they stole the election, right? Since the beginning of the season, all roads lead to Fitz, right? And what have all roads been trying to do? Take him out of being president. Think about it. You stole an election. Now the universe is trying to right itself in multiple ways. Because technically, if he had never won, then he could have divorced his wife. A man who's not president can divorce his wife. They would have gone off. She, you know what I mean? He maybe would have done a lecture circus. She may have been a professor. I'm just making this up. But you see where I'm going with it? Mm-hmm. They would have been together. He wouldn't have been president. Technically, the universe is trying to make him not president and continues to want them to be together. Just saying.
My whole issue with the whole bench conversation, Olivia has known Cyrus for a long time. We don't know how long, but it's been a long time. So the fact that she doesn't really see that Cyrus is pitching this whole schmeal for himself, not to keep Fitz in office, but to keep Cyrus is pitching this to Olivia because he wants his job.
I think she sees that. And you want to know why? And I don't. And maybe I want to know what you guys think. Right, but when he goes, "Go away, you're breaking my heart," right? Because now he brings it to himself. Mm-hmm. He doesn't go, "You're messing up the plan," or "You're messing up the president." He goes, "You're breaking my heart. Get away." And she goes, "Go ahead."
Oh, I was gonna say the fact that he's saying, "Go away, you're breaking my heart." He's basically saying, "Okay. You won't give in." Like I totally think that that Olivia knows what Cyrus is all about. She didn't break, which is why he said, "Oh, go away."
Yeah, this is the only thing that confused me. She goes, "This used to be a park." He goes, "Yeah." She goes, "This park. Oh, this park also used to be a zoo." Did you catch that?
I did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe she was saying the animal because he was an animal.
Caged animals. No, but seriously, there has to be. The one thing that I've realized about this show is they drop clues and choose their words very, very carefully. And especially because of Scandal Pace, they don't waste words.
Right.
This park used to be a zoo. I don't know. Anyone have any thoughts? Let me know. It might, somehow I wrote it down, underlined it. It has to mean something.
What was interesting to me is after Olivia left, the moment that she left, boom, Joe Morton pops up. And as Joe is walking up to Cyrus, you can see Olivia walking. I mean, how did she not? They're sitting like this. Joe was walking this way. Your peripheral, like, how can she have not?
I feel
but also, you're only. That's only if you're expecting someone. Mm-hmm. If you're not expecting someone, think about it. This is your guy's spot. There's a lot of busy people. Once you're up, you're not. It's only if you're expecting to see someone else, and that person isn't a normal person. It would have been different if it was one of the characters that she's used to seeing. Mm-hmm. And I think also too, and the last part of it is, that's his job to pop out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. That's his by training, he's like a ninja or a ghost. So the fact that we can see him and it looked like he popped up so visibly, I really think he came from nowhere at the exact angle that she was far enough away.
Well, if it was Waiting to Exhale with Gloria, she would have watched and noticed.
Turned around. Is he watching me walk away?
I'm just saying, Loretta Devine. If it was Loretta Devine, because she'd have caught it.
Oh my goodness. No, because Cyrus ain't her boo thing.
Oh my God, I can't do it with you guys. When he comes up and confronts him, he says, well, he did a couple things. He told him to shut the whole thing down with Charlie. But when he called him out basically on his BS as to why he hasn't released the footage of Olivia and Jake to save the presidency, and he said, what did he say? He said, "Are you doing this because you're actually afraid of
losing the Republic or your buddy?"
Yeah. Exactly. And that's a moment, and we've seen this a lot in this episode. We see it with Melly and what her end game is and what she's trying to do, holding on to this nuclear weapon. He is so focused on trying to fix this, trying to find a way to fix it without ruining his friendship with Fitz. Because just like James thought he just got in a good favor with Cyrus, Cyrus thinks that he just got back in a good favor with Fitz, or at least was on the road to repairing it. So he doesn't want to ruin that quickly. My thing is, though, if he's so serious about doing this, and obviously we see it worked out in his favor, but if he's so serious about doing this, then why didn't he release it?
Cyrus does not care about him and Fitz being friends. Cyrus is not. Fitz isn't Cyrus's friend.
Then why not release it then?
because he don't want to get put in the doghouse, so then he'll be almost out of a job again. Because if Fitz finds out, then if Fitz finds out that Cyrus gave this information, Fitz is gonna be mad at everybody. But when we all see, when Fitz gets mad at everybody and because somebody does something to him, he shuts everybody out, and then that immediately puts Cyrus back in the doghouse.
Wouldn't Cyrus be giving it to Fitz though to help him, like basically saying, this is your girl who you're about to leave the presidency for. I'm trying to help you out.
Yeah, but he sat on it.
True.
He sat on it.
I think that there is a small part of Cyrus that really, I think that's his buddy.
Yeah.
And the reason being is it's almost like Fitz is like the cool kid. It's like the cool kid is finally your buddy. Think about it. No, but really, even the way they interact, Fitz, basically took the piece of paper and was like, here's my speech, check it out. You know what I mean? And Cyrus is like, oh, God, here we go again. I'm helping you with your homework. That's the nature of their relationship, where it definitely is kind of Big Brother-esque, where Cyrus is somewhat of a father figure. And now we even understand why Cyrus has been able to control Fitz in the way that he has, because that's very much like how Jerry does it.
I was just about to say
the difference is that Cyrus is more of a buddy. Think about even when the first time when Fitz actually admits to him that he loves Olivia when they're drinking the brown water for the first time. That was remember, and Cyrus was like, okay, cool, and we won't speak of it again tomorrow. That was a friend moment. They've had various times, even when he
was it a friend moment, or was it because Fitz has no one else to talk to?
It's both, but I think that Cyrus revels in that, and I think that for a person like Cyrus, there's no difference. In the same way, I think that even though he may have killed James, he still loves him. And I don't mean to laugh when I say this, but it's comical because it's insane. He genuinely considers Olivia a friend, but same thing. He would kill her if he has to.
Yeah.
I think that given the nature of who he is, how he views friendship is a little bit different, but I definitely think that he cares about Fitz. And that's why when Fitz gave him the speech, he resigned himself to basically be like, just in the same way like Olivia was going to, he's going to ride it out. Fitz didn't have to tell him to sit down or stand down, but that's what he was doing. Think about it. Any other time, he would have had a monologue. Cyrus would have had a monologue and basically tore him down like he tore down James to get him back on his side. He didn't do that.
But Cyrus also picks and chooses. He picks and chooses
true.
battles, and so James is really the easy target for whenever he needs to take his frustration out on anybody. There's only so much that he can do with Fitz, only so much he can do with Olivia. So James is that he's a punching bag. Yeah, he's the punching bag that he can go to. And even with Cyrus, when he's mad at Fitz, it's just one of those friend things where it's I don't know if he enjoys it, but it's just it's just the nature of their friendship. He knows that's his boy, but even with the whole get up thing, it's just that's his boy, and that's just the way their relationship works.
Olivia gets a call from Fitz, and once again we see this giddy moment, like Sofia's face over here. We see this giddy moment where, and it was the first time I think that we've seen her where she leans back and gets comfortable, and she's just really happy in the moment, she's really talking to the man she loves, and she just looks overjoyed. And it was a moment where he said he was talking about the statement he was going to make tonight, and she said, "Are you having second thoughts?" And she tried to help him again a little bit. He said, "I don't need your help. I'm going to go through with this." My question is, and do you want to expand on this, Sophia? Because I know you like to do the Olivia Fitz thing. Okay. Right after this, Jake called. Is her phone tapped? Because he called literally right after she hung up.
He did. That was weird, but I don't know.
And he said, "Oh, were you expecting somebody else?"
I would think that the only private number that she would answer is the president. Everyone else, I would assume, would be unblocked.
No, because think about the nature of her clients that she has.
True.
No, I mean, trust me, I agree with you, but it just popped in my head. The nature of the clients that she has at any given moment, you could have people from blah, 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 blah.
So therefore, I think that it could possibly be a coincidence, being the nature of how the two hung up on the phone, that it just happened that way.
And I say no. I say he's still surveying her. No, wrong word. Anyways.
When Melly's fixer talked to her again, he tried to figure out why she wasn't releasing the footage, and she explained to him that she knows Fitz. Not released the footage, released the name. She knows Fitz. My question is, we go to the bake shop with Charlie, and he grabs the bag, and then he goes to the restroom and scans it and sees that there's something under. What was that? What was on there?
It was like a tracking substance. They put it on the bag, so when he grabs the bag, Jake, who was in the car, that red dot that was on his iPad, it tracked him. So when Charlie was touching everybody, he was putting the tracking device on it so it can track everybody
Everyone.
and not just him, and he can get away.
I figured I was going. I've just never seen that before. That substance.
They were in DC. Immediately, I was like, did they give him the anthrax? Like, I was like, they trying to kill him on the street? Like, that's what I immediately thought it was until he started touching everybody and I saw Jake's iPad.
Now, when we go back to Olivia Pope and Associates, Olivia Pope and Associates.
But let's
what's up?
also just reference that the girl who was in the bakery shop.
Not now.
Okay.
Not relevant now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, later.
I think I know what you're trying to say. But, Olivia Pope and Associates, we go back there and we find out Sally's not the mole because they use the daughter to get into the computer system and see if somebody else is logging in.
Also, just for the record, I always knew she wasn't the mole. Even though I didn't see the
was
mole
too
coming.
obvious.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that later. I knew Sally was the mole. Go ahead.
Well, some people saying she was the
Wasn't.
mole because they
Was
thought she was
not.
coming back in this episode and she's been gone. But
And she was bitter.
It was
She
just way
doesn't
too
have
obvious,
the
though.
acumen. Also, I'm gonna be disrespectful. She doesn't have the acumen. In the same way when she was like, oh, and like a woman scored, and Cyrus was like, that ain't from the Bible. Kick rocks. Like, no, seriously. Like, she gets on my nerves. Like, she's not cut. Sorry. No, she seriously. She doesn't have the business acumen or the strategic planning or the master chess moves to have set up something as complex as a mole to take down all the people that she took down. She can't even quote the Bible correctly.
Sophia, can you just say that one more time? I'm a mimic you at some point before the show's over.
Oh my God, you're a mess. I can't deal. This was my issue what I was talking about earlier. When they were talking about she's not the mole and they figured out somebody else is logging in, then everybody was getting frustrated. Harrison threw a chair down and then
What was that?
What was this tough guy? I want tough guy. Really? Like, I don't understand why that was written in. Like, as soon as he knocked the chair down, I was like, okay, tough guy.
Somebody's
really?
being a little dramatic.
What are you going to do?
And it doesn't even make sense to his character.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Like, if he's so smooth and suave, like, he wouldn't.
he's usually the calm one.
He's the calm
and
one.
keeps everybody else at a level head.
It didn't merit that level. I don't know. Anyways.
And if that were real life, and him being the smooth guy would have done that, somebody would have been like, boy, sit down.
Exactly.
Take
Like,
a couple
especially
of seats.
Abby, something.
Go get a cold
It
drink.
was just one of those things where I can see if it was an intense moment, but they just found out that Sally wasn't the mole. Okay, cool. You guys research cases all the time. They act like it was something out of the norm. Like they've been spending weeks and weeks on this.
It goes to show the different behavior pattern in Harrison ever since I made the prediction that I think that you know what. That's all I'm saying. The pattern, his behavior pattern has changed.
No,
I'm
but
just
that's
saying.
written in the character. It would. No. Sorry. Like, no.
It was just out of place. It was just weird and out of place. Because I'm sorry, I can't let go of the scene real quick. We were watching it and everything else was normal. Then all of a sudden he just throws the chair down. It came out of nowhere. It just came out of nowhere.
It was very WWE. Like, it was very like, like come here. Like, it was very body slam Undertaker.
Oh my God! Did somebody put something in our water?
Probably. It's late at night too. So my thing is, I said this out loud when I was watching. All the associates left because Olivia was like, take an hour, take a break. And Abby was talking to David. And David said, no, I think I'm going to stay here. Why did you leave him there?
Because again,
He's not a gladiator,
but
though.
he is a gladiator because, according to them, he's a gladiator. He said it, okay, the rules of something, I'm a gladiator now. It has been established that he is a gladiator. They trust him. He spent the night at OPA's office when he didn't have a place to stay. So if he spent the night, why can't he stay there
Did he
for
spend
an
the night
hour?
alone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I mean, you're right. Your instincts are right. Because
yeah.
Emile really did yell at the TV
Yeah.
and was like, "What are you doing? Don't leave him in the room by himself."
And this also goes that Harrison had already been saying it's too crowded, like it's too much, it's too crowded, and we'll get into that later.
And if you really look deep into it, David is really there because that Cytron card got stolen.
Yeah.
They showed him the Cytron card. So, I mean, from the outside looking in, you would think at least one person would be like, we just showed him the Cytron card. He was trying to get this card back the whole time, and we showed him where it was. We need to move it. But that's from us watching.
But no, but this is the only thing. This is my only moment with it, is that there is an aspect of Olivia that I think that Olivia is able to actually put up a Chinese wall, and she's assuming that everyone is as finite or as resolute as she is. Meaning, for most people, even, and I'm going to go forward a little bit, when they talk about being a gladiator or revenge, most people aren't able to separate their lives that systematically, right? So at the end of the day, I don't care. The fact that you destroy David's life, and now the only people that he can go to even rebuild his life are the same people who destroyed it. That's some, what's the syndrome called when you kidnap people? Not Munchausen.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Where you basically all of a sudden you fall for your captors, right? It's almost that, but he's actually smart enough to basically be like, no, that's not going to happen. But that's almost what they're trying to do. They're like, we screwed up your life. Now come.
Isn't that Stockholm syndrome?
Thank you very much,
syndrome.
Steven. Stockholm syndrome. It's like that in reverse, or that, but from their perspective, where they messed up his life. Now they're like, come be a gladiator, and he's just supposed to be like, okay.
I'll have more when we.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
My thing is, even if he was, let's just say that he really was trying to become a gladiator, and he's thankful that they saved him from whoever was following him and all this stuff, even though he is upset they ruined his life. Even then, if you thought that he was a gladiator and he was really on the team, you should be a little cautious after you saw that Defiant Citron card. Yeah. That's my thing. So maybe after he stayed overnight, that's a different thing. He didn't know the Citron card was there. He still needed to play it safe to figure out where everything was, if that was his original plan. But because he now saw the Citron card, and because you know that he still hasn't really forgiven Abby for it, he's a gladiator now, which means he's I'm
gonna cut you off.
Yeah.
The way he said it was condescending. I'm a gladiator now.
Yeah.
So technically, he's still being David, like, whatever. This is what I have to say. I don't really believe it. You guys get on my nerves.
There were just signs there that pointed.
But David also, he's been that way when he makes his comments, but also at the same time, he's very helpful. He's the one that he was able to figure out. Don't go to Sally Langston. Go to
the daughter, and the way to go to the daughter.
Yeah, and so although he's sarcastic, like Abby's she has her own little lingo that she uses.
But also, but Abby proved herself. Yeah. Like on some real stuff.
I know, yeah, but I'm just saying that David has always been sarcastic, but yet he's always been helpful. So,
well, when they left, and when they came back, Charlie was there with David, holding him at gunpoint, which was a little weird. And then then he puts the gun down, right?
Basically, he's like, oh, I want to be a client. He's like, I'm not here to do harm. I want to be a client, which I would basically was like, this makes no sense.
It was just weird.
I don't even know why they're talking to him. I don't get any of this. Like, and also, why do you need to put a gun to David's head?
Exactly.
The only person you need to put a gun to is Huck. Seriously, like that.
I originally thought when he had when he came in and had the gun to David's head, and he said, I want you to represent me. I thought he was talking to David because he knew about Citron and he knew him and David were on the same team. Oh. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, so he's trying to get David in cahoots with him. Forget all you other people. He's coming at David. That's what I originally thought. I was like, oh, okay. And then that wasn't the case.
One of the things that I had took notice of when Charlie says that he said he wants to. Well, first of all, did you before?
No, I know what you're gonna say.
Before I go into that, did you notice how Abby had the gun pointing?
Yeah.
Gangster. Okay. Yeah. But Charlie said he wants the same deal that Olivia got for Huck. And Olivia, now this is where I agree with you, Sophia. She always has her answers together, as if she didn't know basically what Charlie was talking about. But I have to wonder now, what is the deal that Olivia made for Huck?
But also, was she playing a poker face?
I think she probably was.
Absolutely.
Because he wouldn't have, Charlie doesn't bring stuff up that isn't relevant.
Okay.
You know what I mean? He has no reason to. At this point, to go in there and play games and try to play mind games with them, he doesn't really have to. He can just put Huck back in the box and he's done so. I think when he said that, how fast Olivia was like, there was no deal. Like, it was kind of like she was trying to hush him up. But was there a deal?
But this is my only thing is, though, and this is, I think, I'm going to make a quick prediction. This is going to start to bite everyone in the butt, season 3. She can't underestimate the intelligence of her associates. Run all the things that we know about Huck there has to be someone protecting Huck, because the minute Huck was outed when he was supposed to have been the assassin for the president, his face was out there, at least in an internal community, that then they would have come for him if in fact he's supposed to be dead. So right there, the fact that no one wonders if anyone's, I don't know, I could go
There's a
on
deal.
and on.
And I also think,
But the fact that she's also now, I don't know. I
Your
still
hands are
continue. Oh,
cold.
sorry. I think there's going to be an issue. There's going to be an issue. See, we're friends, and then we're not friends anymore. There's going to be an issue again with the associates. There's going to be a splintering.
yeah, and I also think that we've always wondered what's the background between Olivia and Huck, and so that is a clue. I feel.
Well, Huck said he would take care of Charlie, and he takes him back to this place. And I'm gonna skip up in front a little bit because he was there and he got the name Albatross, and then Charlie's talking about how he wants to die and how he wants Huck to kill him, blah blah blah. He puts a gun to the back of his neck, and then Quinn comes rolling in, and Quinn basically stops him from doing it and tells Huck, "Do you want to be a gladiator or do you want to seek revenge?"
Basically, she's using his own words against him.
She is, but at that point, I don't know if it's just me wanting Huck to get rid of Charlie altogether, but Huck, you see what happens when, like, if you don't take care of it, it's gonna come back to bite you.
Get rid of your loose ends.
And by this time, Huck should know this. He should know this from back in the day when he was working doing dirt with B316 or whatever it is. Quinn, get out.
But also,
go have a cold drink.
But you can tell that even the way that he was interacting with Charlie earlier, Huck is off his game, and Huck isn't okay. Like, Huck is even worse than Huck has ever been. He's a little bit nervous. He's uneasy. He almost looks like he's fidgety because, first of all, I don't give a crap if she's baby Huck. How did she know where he was? Does that make sense? That's mistake number one. Right? No, seriously. So what were they in the basement of Olivia Pope and Associates?
But
Seriously.
Do you think Huck had, it appeared from his expression, Huck had reservations about killing him in the first place? And maybe this is because he did him a favor, I'm gonna do you a favor.
But again, we can't do
know.
this dance. Huck, we can't do this dance with you and Charlie the whole time. And as a man and somebody who cares about his life, Charlie cut Huck some slack and he let Huck go free. Then Huck was torturing Charlie that, in the beginning of last season, he let Charlie go. Now, Charlie put Huck in the box and mentally tortured him.
Somebody
now,
gotta die.
Huck let Charlie go when he was supposed to kill him. We can't keep doing this dance. Somebody's going, I'm gonna put this in other terms. Somebody gonna get popped, and you need to make sure it's not you that's getting popped.
Money
And also
trees,
too, but also,
Kendrick.
and not only that though, the fact that Charlie just walked in the office and was like, "Give me a deal." Did he really think that was gonna happen? So Huck should have seen that coming. No, seriously, they were really just gonna be like, "Okay, cool, you're a client now,"
Right.
No,
because that's why Huck didn't even have to torture him. Because we've been through this before. I don't even need to torture you. He barely bound him. He had him kind of duct tape with his free. Here's a donut.
was eating
and
a
I'm here,
donut.
just write down the name, and then I'm gonna kill you. Because we don't need to do this. So the fact that he didn't, for everything that Kennelia said, this whole thing's out of whack.
Yes, you're correct. And when we go to this next scene, there's two moments we see in these next two scenes. Fitz and Cyrus on the sofa, and Fitz is asking to see, or Fitz shows Cyrus his speech and what he's going to say. And Cyrus just basically says, I have no comments. But it was this moment on the sofa where they both kind of leaned back and laughed and started to reflect. Because basically, they looked at the speech, and Fitz had to remind him, we're not even supposed to be here. Remember, you stole the White House. And then they kind of just laughed about it because
They did.
Cyrus is just like, I'm at my wit's end. I don't know what to do anymore. But it was after that when we go to Melly with her fixer, and she reads the speech that was crumbled up in the trash, and the look of shock on her face was so intense. And we saw this in the last episode too. Every time Fitz goes against what she thinks his nature is, it's just weird to see her in that position because she thinks she knows Fitz so well, and she does. But when we saw her look on, what's up?
No, never mind.
No, but I'm gonna, sorry. Go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'm gonna say something.
I was just gonna say, when she looked at the message, she said, "There's no way he's gonna blow his presidency." And the important line in that was how she was talking about it. But when the fixer said, I'm very good at what I do. I can move mountains, make miracles happen. but I can't make I can't make your husband love you. And then she said, I know Fitz, he won't throw it all away. But I feel like he really was going to throw it all away until Olivia got into his head, because Cyrus got into Olivia's head.
Well, Melly
No,
seemed
no, 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 I disagree.
I
I
disagree.
disagree. Go ahead. What's up with us today? We're agreeing too much.
Olivia didn't get into his head the way Cyrus wanted to. That was a legitimate reason. By him not signing the papers, he was not going to do the second term. It had nothing to do with Olivia. That was in his mind made up. So Olivia went and spoke to him in regards to that, and basically said, you know, if you want to redeem yourself, yeah.
Melly knows what she may know what Fitz is gonna do, but she never knows why he's doing it.
Right, because
like Melly knew,
yeah.
she said he's not gonna give it all away. To Melly, she was thinking because he's wanted this presidency forever and this is what he wanted to do and yada yada yada. That wasn't the real reason.
Yeah.
Melly thought that Fitz was gonna show up last episode and come to, you know, meet her at the thing. She's like, he's gonna, you know, he's gonna come. I'm giving him time. She didn't know why. She never knows why he doesn't do stuff or does do something. Melly can predict what Fitz is gonna do, but if you ask her why he did it, she won't know.
And that's exactly how I felt, to where she was like, yes, I knew he would do it. You have no clue as to why he did it. You just lucked out, girl.
This is the thing is, they both, and by they, I mean Olivia and Melly, actually want the same thing, to piggyback off what Kennelia said, for different reasons. They both want Fitz to be the best Fitz can be. Mm-hmm. What that looks like is slightly different, but the end goal is the same, because they don't see the best Fitz not being the president of the United States of America. And I think that to bring it back to Olivia, in the same way that in season 1 with the debate, when she basically like showed him himself and stood up to him, in the same way that ironically you could argue even with Defiance. And then again in this last episode, and the scene where basically she says to him, like, if you don't want to be president, cool, but make sure that you know that you don't want to be president, and the reason that you don't want to do it is because you've given up on yourself and now you don't think that you can do it. And I think that the fatal flaw he was making was he was putting his sense of self on someone else, which he's always done, whether that's been Big Jerry, Melly, or Olivia. This was the first time he put his own belief in self on himself. And I think we're going to see a very different Fitz. Because now Fitz believes in Fitz, and even though the trigger was Olivia, he had to come to the realization, do I think that I can do this? Mm-hmm. And even if I think I can't, I'm at least going to try.
Yep, agree.
Now, we saw Jake give the footage of, after he watched it again, we saw him give the footage of him and Olivia to Big Boss, the Secretary of Defense. What do you guys think he's going to do with that footage?
We'll see. I don't know.
I think he's gonna use it to blackmail the president. Sorry, I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I think.
Okay, that's the question I had. And then we go back to Olivia in her office, and she tells Harrison, if things get messy, I'm not your client. I can take care of myself. And then she hands him the 2 folders. And then later on, we go back to when the president's about to give his speech, and they don't know what he's going to say, but we see that Fitz is thinking about what he's going to say, and then he folds the paper and he speaks from his mind, and he says, my marriage is none of your business and I will be running for re-election. And this is the same time when Harrison came out of the office looking frantic. And when he came out of the office, because Bamm has been putting all these thoughts in my mind about Harrison being a mole and like all these different things, I didn't know how it was going to be connected, but we see the Citron card is gone. Billy Chambers is back, and
I was always saying Billy Chambers isn't dead. Billy Chambers isn't dead. And maybe I have to watch it the next episode to see what the explanation behind it, behind him being the mole, besides him being a bitter Bob. But when they opened up the door, I was like, yo, Billy Chambers. And then I'm thinking, but wait, Billy Chambers and David, when did they meet?
Oh, darn it. I think I just connected the dots.
Okay.
Bear with me real quick. So, and again, it all goes down to when Olivia trusted David. And remember from season 1, I said she should have never done it. Olivia is the one who brought David into Amanda Tanner, right? And then when Billy killed
the boyfriend,
yes,
little boo.
I don't know what, Gideon, right? Mm-hmm. When he killed Gideon, she then doubled back around to him and she was like, you need to catch his killer. And he was like, but you got rid of all the evidence, right? So again, David could have already been investigating. We've only seen David investigating the Defiance part, but Defiance still leads back to Amanda Tanner. Not really, but technically, it's still the president because that's where he was first brought in. So you connect the dots to Amanda Tanner. Then again, Billy is the one who was like, oh, I was having a baby with Amanda Tanner, but the president, blah, blah, blah. It's easy to connect the dots if you're David, right? Now, the key thing is that I don't understand is how do they actually get together if Billy Chambers is supposed to be dead? Right? So why would Billy Chambers, because the only way this could work is Billy had to have contacted David, not David contacted Billy. Does it make sense?
Who was supposed to kill Billy?
Charlie.
Was Charlie ever in contact with David? Do we remember if Charlie and David ever
crossed paths?
Ever crossed paths? No.
And that's
No.
my question. Like, how is Charlie connected to this now that we know that David and Billy are?
Well, and that's where it gets tricky. And in my mind, and I said it, and I'm gonna be unpopular, I agree with you in the same way that you've always said Billy's not dead, but to me, this Billy being the mole, I don't like it. I think it is insulting to the storyline because something doesn't make sense, because again, you can't have had Billy contacting, like, who contacted who? Because, and I'm just gonna throw things out there and hopefully it will all gel together. So we obviously have this B group, right? So the B group is obviously connected to some higher level Secretary of Defense. That's why the Secretary of Defense guy said Charlie's no longer your guy, because Charlie's our guy, and he let him know Charlie's our guy. So does that mean they're still connected to Charlie, or is Charlie doubling back and going against them to go together with Billy? Do you see what I'm trying to say? Like, is he really the mole, or is there still another mole? Like, because there's still two operations going on. I don't know. I'm confused.
I'm confused too.
I'm confused too, and you make a good point. Billy may not necessarily be the only mole. I just think it's whack because you have certain characters who we haven't seen in a long time, and so there's Billy and there's Sally Langston, and so I just think for us to have to go through all 21 episodes to come back to Billy just seems like, huh, for real?
Yeah.
I just think it's whack.
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully they show
And
us
also
what
too,
the deal
like,
is.
and also my thing is, so you're still trying to get the president? Sally rolled on you. So I can't even.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So hopefully obviously next week, better offer some type of clarification.
Now, can I say something completely different? Even though I am very happy that Fitz is going to run again, there is still a part of me that wanted to see them both willing to put their relationship in the full light of day. And I was actually pleasantly surprised at how calm Olivia was. And they've been doing it for the last 3 episodes. This is gonna sound corny, but shout out to the makeup artist on set. They've been doing something different with Olivia's makeup. Have you noticed? She looks younger. She looks
glowing.
calmer, right? She looks less Olivia Pope and more Livy. And I like that feeling from her. And I like that she seemed that whatever was gonna come, she took care of her family, which was the folders, and basically was like, Harrison, you're now in charge. Like, and even I think that interaction, the way that she said, oh no, let's find out who the mole is, or if Sally's the mole, I think that was her changing the guards, or the changing of the guards. I think she was basically like a proud mama, and even though she couldn't admit anything, she was like, Harrison has stepped up, I can leave this in good hands. But I don't know. I still wanted to see that next step.
I'm with you. I definitely feel the same way. But
Well,
it is what it is. I guess it's time for news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
okay, so really quick, Scandal has been doing terrific in the ratings. They've been the #1 10 p.m. drama on any network of any nights for the 11th consecutive week in its first run broadcast. In addition to, it's also been the #1 TV series in its time slot on each of its 14 last original episodes. And as far as the Twitter and social media goes, Nielsen is now launching a Twitter TV rating in the fall of 2003, and it's really plays in part to how Scandals has been so popular on Twitter, and so much that there are 2,200 tweets per minute during the actual broadcast of Scandal, and overall there's 288,000 tweets in the full hour of Scandal. And the #2 show that has the second amount of tweets is American Idol, and it only has 155,000. So that totally shows just how much the social media, particularly Twitter, has really helped enhance the ratings and the popularity of Scandal.
And I think just changed the TV landscape.
It has.
I was going to say, Kennelia showed us all a video from a DC news station that was doing a piece. Yeah, ABC.
7.
They were doing a piece on social media and how it affected Scandal. And AfterBuzz TV, our Scandal after show here, actually made it onto that segment. So shout out, guys. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we wanted to show you guys a quick cover, if you haven't seen it, from Elle magazine. And Kerry Washington has been on the cover of so many magazines, but this is her first major fashion magazine. And it's just funny how she's blown up from first season to second season, like the accomplishment she's made. Because I remember when we first started watching this first season and we were following her, she was at maybe 282,000. I checked today just out of curiosity. She's at over 800,000. Just to see how somebody's career can change so fast. So
Twitter
bravo.
followers.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Twitter followers. Bravo to you, Kerry. Giveaway. Who wants to talk about the giveaway?
I'll talk about the giveaway. So you guys, you've heard us talk about the Scandal Season 1 DVD that we got signed by a few of the cast members, but we're finally going to give the DVD away. So please listen carefully. What we're going to do is you have to reach out to us on any social networking site that you can find us on. I mean, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, iTunes. Emile has Chasing LA. Bamm has his movie that he's coming out with. He has contact information. We have personal blogs. Wherever you can find us, you should hit us up with hashtag AfterBuzzTV Scandal. Hashtag AfterBuzzTV Scandal with your full name, city and state, or if you're out of the country, put the country that you live in. And that will enter you into the drawing. You can only be entered one time. So if you hit us all up at different times with the same information, we're gonna see that you've done it, and we're gonna put you in the drawing one time, just to be fair to everybody. And you have until midnight Wednesday, and I mean midnight Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. Tuesday night. Make sure that you reach out to us with information. So again, hashtag AfterBuzzTV Scandal.
And that's Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific Standard Time. AfterBuzz, hashtag AfterBuzzTV Scandal on any social networking site. Hit us up with your full name, city, and state to win Scandal Season 1 DVD signed by, who was it signed by, guys, again?
Jeff Perry, Kerry Washington, Katie Lowe's, and Guillermo Diaz.
This is a big deal, guys. So make sure you get into this giveaway. This is the only time we're going to be doing this. This is it. We're going to announce the winner at the finale show next week.
Yes, finally happening. And now it's time for shout-outs.
Shout outs, my favorite part of the show. Again, and the reason that we do shout outs is Gladiators, we really truly appreciate you. We appreciate you watching on YouTube. We appreciate you listening on iTunes. We appreciate, especially on iTunes, rating, comment, and subscribing. So I'm going to jump right into the shout outs for today's show. We have iTunes, A Monet 720, Mad Moni, Nikki Rocks #1, Trina 0430. And for Twitter, we have Archangel, AU Yellow Rose, BZ Crazing, or BZ, I don't know, BZCR8ING, C_McDaniel, Carpe Diem Life, Cinematic Mag, Sensitive. She said that Sally is the mole. She still could maybe be right with Billy Chambers, but she said to say it on the air. Deb Wilker, Diggable Lemmy, E Brown 1206, I am Tosh Ab, Livy Rose 00, Monk _Pepper, Olitz Fiend, OWLIRIG 2011, Scandal Love 12, Scandal Red Hot, Trackstar Vetty Vet, XO Tony Ronnie XO, ZSA, how come I can't read these? ZSA Clar. For YouTube, we have Alex Greaves, Angel Durham, and Antigone M06, Bella Blue 10, Book Maiden 253, Britney Spears, Chocolatey Beauty, CJYAHH21, Connie Tisdale, DS Mile 100, Enrico Antidote, Fabio's Girl, Fangal 12, Fatty K, Fitzgerald T. Grant, Hazel Lies, J1091L, Jacob Walton, J Jordan 19821, K Hots TART27, Kinky Curly Barbie, Lindsay Marie, Lisa 678100, Michelle Loggins, Mikey M, Min Cop, Moni 6626, Maya 2436 Diva, Neo Persia 99, Palma Anog, Picky Chick 3, PMONPL, Queenie K, Rachel Thompson, and also Rachel Thompson, shout out to your friends in Canada. Scanoglio, Sakura, Susan Easton, TD Brown 1456, TM, The D Ree, Therese Robinson, Trisha Ikes, You Can Find 99, Unclouded Path, VP Connect 2008, Vivian Painesville, and Wallflower. Thank you again, Gladiators. iTunes, Twitter, YouTube, we really appreciate you. iTunes, rate, comment, subscribe. Twitter, you can continue to talk to us. And YouTube, you can continue the conversation of anything that we didn't talk about or anything you'd like to expand upon, or theories, conspiracies, and always cold piece of the week.
Now it's time for... No, you're good. It's time for predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I just want to hear your predictions, guys.
I think because we saw David involved, I have a feeling, and I keep saying this, I don't know if I'm wrong, just act like I never said it. I think Abby is going to potentially jump on board with David if she finds out that he is involved in this whole situation. One, because Abby was still shooting while everybody else was wrapped. So in my mind, I was like, oh, she must be shooting the last scenes of the episode, which probably wasn't the case. They're probably just doing some back cleanup. But because Abby still feels the way she feels, and Abby knows she betrayed David, and they had that moment between them when they were staring at each other when he saw the Cytron card, something in me is saying Abby is going to jump on board with this whole David bad guy thing. And she always back talks, and she had the conversation with Huck when Huck was going crazy about how Olivia gets you, and she does this, and she's this and that. Something just tells me Abby she's going to flip out.
Hold on. Steven, you want to jump in?
Sure, real quick. So, I don't actually watch, but I listen to you guys every week, and it's like kind of like listening to a radio show, and you go scene to scene, so I kind of pick up a little bit of things. Honestly, it sounds like Cyrus is making big moves. He's getting a little bit too arrogant, and it seems like everything's kind of working out too well for him, and I think that that's going to bite him in the ass. I think that things are going to go the way he plans, and then something's going to hit him and maybe even take him out in the finale and kill him.
We did see him on the ground in the preview.
Yeah.
He was.
And we have always said, like, he's going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, the way he goes, seriously. My prediction is they're doing, like, a bait and switch. Charlie, I'm just not buying it. Charlie would not have given up the mole. And if Charlie gave up the mole, it's because Charlie doesn't know who the mole is.
Good
No,
point.
seriously. Them showing us that it's Billy and David, the fact that my reaction was like BS, I think they're playing us. Something doesn't make sense. They're not the mole. Are they maybe connected? Yes, but they are not the mole. It just does not make sense. It's too obvious, and not obvious in terms of the Billy part, but I don't like it. They're not the mole. Whoever the mole is actually gonna floor us. This pissed me off. It didn't floor me. Whoever the mole is going to make me fall off my chair.
Good point.
I agree. My prediction is Sally gets on my nerves. No, seriously. Okay. The cupcake girl at the cupcake shop.
But make sure you do a spoiler alert.
Oh, spoiler alert. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so
Spoiler alert!
when we paused the previews, the cupcake girl came into the door and she was holding a gun to it appeared to be Olivia. So she has something to do with that, but I'm gonna go further into a prediction and say that she was gonna kill Olivia, and then Harrison steps in, and then she kills Harrison. That's one of my predictions.
You just trying to kill Harrison off.
And then I think that David and Harrison are gonna come to blows. I think they'll come to blows because there's something fishy about David to Harrison. And so if Harrison and him find out what's going on, I think that's going to take Harrison over the top, and I think they're going to come to blows.
Yeah, especially with that whole tough guy move with the chair. I mean, so shout out to Jam Girl 173 in the chat room. She said, "No, Kennelia, Abby will not betray Olivia for David." My bad, girl. Dang.
Yeah, serious and vicious in the chat room. But I just can't wait for next week for the finale, and it will be bittersweet. But where can we find you guys?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Bamm Ericsen or Big Six Entertainment.
And you can find me on Twitter at Sofia Stanley.
And I'm across the board at Kennelia. Remember, guys, the giveaway, find us wherever you can to enter into the giveaway.
And I'm at Emile Ennis Jr. and ChasingLA.com. It was great, guys. Fun as always. And we will see you next week for the finale. Tell your friend, your family about AfterBuzz. Watch us live. All right.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.